MIUI for POCO. So there's 3 components in MIUI for POCO. The first is the all-new POCO Launcher, which I'll get into in a little bit. The second is something we call the turbocharged engine. This is what powers a lot of those under-the-hood optimizations for speed and fluidity. And the third thing is a focus on fast updates, which again is a piece of feedback that we heard from all of you a couple of months ago. So let me start with the app, the POCO Launcher. This is probably one of the most noticeable differences that you'll see between the regular version of MIUI and MIUI for POCO. And the POCO Launcher comes with 2 main features. The first is an app drawer, and the second is some customizations, to give you some more options, things that really make Android great. So the app drawer is probably the most commonly pointed out difference when people say, like stock Android versus MIUI. People say, I just want an app drawer. And the reason is because it gives you this convenient way to look at a sorted list of your apps. So let's take a look at how the stock Android app drawer looks like. So here we have the app drawer, sorted list of apps, recents up at top, and then the search bar all the way up at the top. So in MIUI for POCO, we brought the search bar down to the bottom, and this is because that's where your thumb is naturally, especially with the longer displays. It's a lot harder to search when it's up there. So again, makes it faster. Looks pretty similar, but a slightly improved function. Outside of app search, we have the ability to group things by categories. So we have the same recents up there, and then we create this tab which automatically groups your apps into categories. And this is something that we have seen from MIUI. This is how most people organize their home screen, is they put all of these apps into categories. So in the POCO Launcher, we do it for you. All these things are sorted automatically. Of course, if you install another app, it'll just show up. If you happen to install another communication app, it'll just show up automatically. Super useful. We have another cool feature, which actually I use a lot now, and it's the ability to group apps by color. So when you turn this on, you get this nice set of colors down here. So here we click on the green one, and it just brings up all the apps by color. I thought that I always looked in the app drawer alphabetically, but you'll notice that when an app happens to change the icon, it becomes very difficult to find. So I found myself using this quite a bit. Privacy is also something that we focused on. So we have another cool little feature. It's hidden app icons. Swipe twice from the left. You can create your own password and then put apps in there as you like. So Android users, again, love customizing their phones. Another thing we did is we support third-party icon packs, things that you can install from the Play Store. So here we kind of shuffled through a couple of these icons. This is another area where that color search really helps, because different icon packs change the color, which just throws me completely off. Super cool, super useful. So that's the POCO Launcher. And actually, we will make it available. We plan to make it available in beta next week, so you can download this on other devices. So that's the POCO Launcher, the first thing. The second thing is the turbocharged engine. And this, again, is a focus on performance. That's one of the things that people say. We want better performance. So we're going to talk about 3 things. There's a lot of stuff going on under the hood, but we're going to talk about 3 main results here. Faster app startup, better performance for your foreground app, and a much faster and more responsive swiping experience. Let's dig into these categories. First thing is faster app startup. This is powered by our VIP launch booster. We actually have a little bit of a animation here. Basically, what we do is we allocate some dedicated resources for app startups. So when you start up a new app, instead of trying to get new resources, we already have a fast lane available to make sure that you have enough resources to start an app immediately. We've actually tuned this for the most popular apps here, so the startup time is really fast, particularly for these apps. And it's 28% faster when we did some comparisons with some other popular OSs with the same hardware. We actually, I believe, yeah, we have a video here, so let's take a look at this. basically what we do here is we try to prioritize resources to the foreground app because that is what you're actually using. So typically on Android, there's a lot of processes running in the background, and resources are kind of distributed evenly. So basically, we use something called dynamic allocation. The foreground app here is the little blue app down here, and we try to take all of the system resources, CPU, RAM, RAM, and allocate it to that foreground app. Because again, that's what you're really doing, and you probably don't care about the performance of those background applications. And this makes a big difference, particularly in gaming scenarios. This is a MOBA called Arena of Valor. I'm actually really good at this game, so if anybody wants to challenge me, let me know. But it's not only the RAM and CPU. We also prioritize bandwidth to the foreground app. So if we click up here, this is if you happen to be downloading something in the background, what we do is we prioritize the resources, make sure that all of your bandwidth goes into this foreground app so you have a good ping. So the third thing is a faster and more responsive swiping experience. And as a power user, we want to make sure that you get more immediate feedback when you interact with apps. So we've done two things here. The first thing here is the left. On the left, you can see POCO for MIUI. Basically, this is it's the touch response time. So it's when your finger touches the phone, how quickly we can detect the touch, how quickly the system detects the touch. And we've actually improved this by 20%. Again, here is better swiping animations. On the left, you have POCO for MIUI. We've made the swipe animations 22% faster. This is something that there's kind of a look and feel change that people talk about a lot, and we've optimized this particularly for POCO for MIUI. MIUI for POCO, sorry. So overall, these two things give us 21% better swiping performance than before. And again, we have some other videos comparing this to one of our competitors. So that's performance. Like I said, there's a lot more stuff under the hood. We have over 20 different deep system optimizations to MIUI for POCO, and the goal is to make sure that it feels fast and fluid all the time. So app drawer, turbocharged engine, and I think a category that I think many people care about, which is fast updates. So we're talking about fast updates both in security updates as well as underlying OS updates. All of you know that MIUI updates very, very frequently and for longer than any other OEM. But in this particular device, we wanted to prioritize those other two things, which many of you mentioned to us. So on to security updates. We will have security updates at least once a quarter, but we'll aim to do much better than that, but at least once a quarter. Onto the underlying OS updates, it ships with Android 8.1, but we will have the Android Pie update, the P update, in Q4 of this year. That's, again, the latest time. We plan to do it much faster than that, because we know this is important for all of you. And of course, it ships with Project Treble, which is one of the things that makes it easier for us to do these quick updates. It also, if you really love AOSP, it makes it easy for you to just slap an AOSP build on there. Speaking of some of those custom ROMs, we will do our best to support custom ROMs. I think given the hardware that we're talking about, I suspect that this device will be pretty popular with the custom ROM crowd. And as with Xiaomi devices, unlocking the bootloader won't void your warranty. So the kernel source will be available next week. It's the 29th. We'll post it in the same place. It's always posted on the MeCode GitHub.